The handcuffs clicked in the school auditorium, and the whole room forgot how to breathe. 2 state investigators were at the podium cuffing our HOA president, while her slide behind her still showed a photo of my patrol SUV and a line about $500 a day signs. She never guessed the guy she decided to bully over a parking spot was the county sheriff, who had already built a fraud case with the attorney general. 6 months earlier, it was quiet. Maple Ridge mornings smell like wet grass and laundry soap sprinklers. Tap the sidewalks and my coffee sits on the hood of my county SUV, while I take a second to be grateful for 2 girls who still laugh at my dad jokes, and a modest house I can afford. Then Karen Sutton steps off her curb and aims her clipboard at me like a weapon. That commercial eyesore doesn't belong in a family neighborhood. She says perfume strong enough to taste phone, already recording Section 4.2. 1 prohibits commercial vehicles. Think of the children. She says children like my unit eats them for breakfast. I keep my cop voice calm. Ma'am, it's an assigned take-home vehicle required for response time and deterrence. State law exempts emergency vehicles. And I head to work thinking it's a misunderstanding. By lunch, a certified letter lands in my mailbox with a signature that looks rehearsed in a mirror. 72 hours to remedy, copied to my chief, copied to the board. The confidence is stunning. I pour another coffee and send back a polite but airtight reply with statute cites and a reminder to review the full covenants. I figure that ends it. Yeah, that happened. I was wrong. Next comes the theater, a fluorescent notice for an emergency board meeting at 2 p.m. Tuesday. When normal people work, then the code enforcement sedan rolls into my driveway like a hearse. Jerry Hayes climbs out looking miserable. Morning sheriff complaint about illegal commercial activity. 20 minutes of inspecting, while neighbors rubberneck on their way to work. Jerry finally shakes his head. No violation. Case closed. But the point wasn't law. It was embarrassment. My daughters see the keyed scratch that appears on my door that night and ask if the mean lady will make us move again. No, honey. I tell them while tucking blankets under chins that still smell like shampoo. Sometimes adults have disagreements, we work them out. Then I start seeing the pattern. People miss when they're scared or busy. Jennifer Reed. The ER nurse gets cited because her kid drew chalk flowers. Harold. The retired vet is warned about garden gnomes. A young couple is dinged for mailbox numbers in the wrong font. Every violation letter comes with a helpful suggestion for a contractor who can fix it fast. Sutton Landscaping for shrubs. Sutton Home. Repairs for fences. Sutton Seasonal. Decor for lights. You don't need a badge to see what that is. Public records say the part out loud. Sutton Property Management. Owner Karen Sutton. The same name on the contractor companies and the same address create the problem. Sell the solution. Collect the fee, a little Suburban ATM that pings every time a neighbor gets scared, and the anger that follows is not hot. It's cold and steady, the kind that keeps you careful. My kitchen turns into a tiny war room. Jennifer brings a casserole, and that tired fire in her eyes, Otter. Daniel Kim from the corner ranch shows up with a laptop and a spreadsheet brain. We stack letters and dates and bank deposits until connections start singing. Every violation wave lines up with payments to Sutton Property Management. Daniel murmurs, and when local attorney Rebecca Cole leans over the table, she whistles low. That's self-dealing. And if the mail and email were used to collect, we're in mail and wire fraud territory. The squeeze builds the board. rushes a vote to implement a $500 a day. Fine, because my patrol unit makes us look like a parking lot. Karen delivers the notice by hand. With a smile you'd use to sell cookies. My chief calls me in wearing his politics face. Commissioner Blake has election nerves. Maybe park at the station a while, he suggests. And I look at the floor so I don't say the part that wants to come out too sharp. Sir, I'm following protocol. And the law, he knows. I know he knows. But bureaucracy doesn't care who is right. It cares who is loud. Then the media bites. Channel 7 sets Karen in front of a hydrangea bush at golden hour. This sheriff thinks his badge puts him above the rules. She trembles for the camera. We are protecting families. Hashtags flare. Strangers call me a thug who thinks rules are for other people. My girls ask why people on TV are mad at their dad. Because sometimes liars get loud right before they get caught. I tell them meaning it, still swallowing barbed wire. We need something structural, something that doesn't care about stories. So I dig through court sites after the girls go to bed at 11 p.m. On a Thursday, I find it. Maple Ridge Development LLC bankruptcy. March 2019, buried in the legal oatmeal is a clause requiring automatic transfer of HOA control to homeowners within 90 days. With notice and formal elections, I check our minutes. No notice, no election, no transfer. Which means for 2 years, they've acted with authority. They never got every fine and threat built on nothing. That's the twist you feel in your bones when it clicks. I text Jennifer and Daniel. Come over, bring coffee. We circle the clause in yellow. Rebecca reads it twice and grins. You don't have a parking problem. You have a fake HOA extracting money under color of authority. And she calls a friend at the AG's office. Investigator Sarah Lane says, send what you have. 2 days later, she says, we're opening a case. Karen must feel the ground shift because she launches a special assessment. $1,000 to $2,000, due in 48 hours, to fund a legal fight against government intimidation liens and foreclosures. Threatened in friendly fonts. The calls to my phone sound like panic. Harold's hands shake. Jennifer rages and cries and rages again. Dr. Kim says, this feels like extortion, and Investigator Lane tells me they're seeing kickbacks tied to recommended contractors. Emails about making examples of households a spreadsheet tagging vulnerable families. That part makes my jaw hurt because it confirms what we suspected. She targeted the people least able to fight back. Saturday night, someone keys the SUV again and slashes 2 tires of us. Henderson's doorbell cam catches Brady Preston, the board treasurer's teenager doing his midnight ninja routine and looking directly into the lens. Like he's taking a yearbook photo, juvenile detention greets him by noon. A reminder that the law is not a Facebook comment. I call the FBI white-collar unit Monday morning. Agent Thompson says, we're interested. Have packages ready by Tuesday. My table becomes a paper city. Labels on stacks, exhibits in sleeves. And when my girls sleep, I stand in the doorway and promise to end this without turning our house into a bunker. Tuesday night, the school auditorium smells like disinfectant and cafeteria pizza. Folding chairs, scrape tile. People line the walls with crossed arms and half whispers. Karen shows up at exactly 7 in a navy blazer that screams, reasonable person, and a hard case that says, performance. Good evening, neighbors, she says into the mic. We are here to protect our community. She clicks through slides. Property value graphs, diving next to photos of my SUV, shot from angles that make it look like a tank. Think of our children. She coos, do we want weapons parked where they play hopscotch? Heads bob like dashboard dolls. Hands start to rise for the vote. I stand and take the aisle. Slow courtroom voice. Steady, ma'am, before you. A sheriff, $500 a day. We should talk about your authority to fine anyone. Anything. I hold up a manila folder thick enough to matter. Let's discuss the developer's 2019 bankruptcy. The clause requiring transfer to homeowners. The notice and formal elections that never happened here. The murmur runs the walls. Her smile slips like a mask. Without the strap technicality. She says we have always acted in good faith. I open to documents showing Sutton Property Management and the Sutton contractor entities with her name on them. I hold a violation letter next to a same-day contractor. Estimate, create the problem. Sell the solution. Collect the fee. That is not protection, that is a pipeline. And right then, two suits step in from the back and close the doors with that soft click, remember. State investigators badges up. Please remain seated. Investigator. Lane's voice is clean and final. Karen Sutton, you are under arrest for organized fraud, mail fraud, wire fraud, and racketeering. You have the right to remain silent. The cuffs flash under fluorescent light. Designer heels tick time across tile. She yells about conspiracies and property values and government overreach as they walk. Her past rows of neighbors she billed and bullied. The slideshow freezes on my SUV. The mic hums, and nobody breathes for a beat. I don't cheer. I don't smirk. I let the room sit in what it is. Shock and relief and anger, and all the complicated things that don't turn off just because the bad guy gets walked out. A man demands we kill the HOA. A woman says we need a real one. With real elections. Someone asks who pays back the money. Another asks if I'm going to sue an older neighbor. Cries quietly because fear is heavy, and she finally put it down. I gather my folder and step into the fall air where crickets are tuning up, and my patrol SUV sits under the streetlight. Like it always does, washed by daughters who trade chores for pizza. You know what I mean? Here's the part that might start a fight in the comments. I believe in rules when they're real rules, and not weapons. I believe in community standards that keep things safe and decent. I also believe a badge in a driveway can be comfort to some, and a worry to others can be true. The line between protecting property values and controlling people is thin and slippery, and if you think you know exactly where it is, I want to hear why. So tell me, was I right to keep my patrol unit at home, or should I have parked at the station to avoid the fight? Where do you draw the line between standards and bullying? Have you seen power hide behind rules, or a uniform used as a shortcut for being right drop? Where you're watching from, and your own HOA story, best or worst. And if this made you feel angry or relieved or conflicted, then why? The handcuffs clicked. That's where this story ends. What happens next is on us.